At the start of the narrative, we meet a boy named Mowgli who was raised in the jungle amidst chains, perched on an elephant, with his father being a foreign soldier. During their jungle excursion, news suddenly circulated that Shere Khan, the notorious tiger, was on a rampage, killing all the hunters who had previously hunted his animals. That night, Mowgli was watching Kitty, the commander's daughter, dance, and after a while, he approached her to give her a flower. In exchange, Kitty gifted Mowgli a bracelet, but soon after, chaos ensued as Shere Khan launched an attack on their tents, causing widespread panic. Mowgli was riding in a cart when, due to a fire, the horses began to flee rapidly into the jungle. Inside the jungle, Mowgli jumped from the cart. And the cart exploded because of the old wood. The commander believed Mowgli was dead, while his father was trying to save the hunters. Shere Khan died. Mowgli was now completely alone in the jungle. While wandering, he saw a black panther named Bagheera. Bagheera held out his tail to Mowgli and, taken into the pack of wolves, at first the wolves looked at Mowgli carefully, but later they included him in their family. One day, Mowgli saw a bear. The poor bear was stuck in the tree. Mowgli exerted himself and pulled him out, after which the bear was very happy and they both became friends. Now time passed and Mowgli also grew up. One day Mowgli was sitting on a tree when a monkey came and stole his bracelet, which Kitty had given him in his childhood. While wandering, Mowgli reached a Hanuman temple. Here, a monkey was making very rude gestures at our brother Mowgli. Anyway, while following it, Mowgli reached a treasure. Mowgli entered the crowded room and found a dagger adorned with a very unique hero there. The Monkey King, wearing his crown, was seated on a donkey when a very large snake emerged. He stepped into the water. Mowgli drove his dagger deep into the belly of that creature and successfully got away. The Monkey King admired Mowgli's courage greatly and decided to return his bracelet to him. Meanwhile, Kitty has grown up and came to the jungle on a tour with some of her friends. Kitty ventured into the heart of the jungle alone to gather flowers, and just then, Mowgli arrived there unexpectedly. Mowgli was very surprised to see Kitty, but he couldn't recognize her as his childhood friend after spending so much time in the jungle. He understands nothing. Kitty got out of there and found her friend William, who has a strong affection for her. Mowgli, seeing Kitty near William, launched an attack. He threw him into the water, and just then, William's friends arrived and started attacking Mowgli with guns. Thus, the fight ended and everyone went back. Mowgli remembered Kitty, so he went to see her the next day at the army base. While sneaking in Kitty's room, she spotted Mowgli with his bracelet and understood that he was her childhood friend Mowgli. During this time, the soldiers learned about it. The soldiers discovered this and started pursuing Mowgli. In the midst of the chase, a man rendered Mowgli unconscious. He was a hunter. At that moment, William also reached the scene. They figured that Mowgli likely knew about the other treasures, so they imprisoned him in a dark cell after giving him the precious treasure. Meanwhile, Kitty informed her father, the commander, that the boy was Mowgli, whom they believed to be dead. Therefore, they decided to teach Mowgli to speak and live among humans again. William hid the hero-laden treasure so that no one would get a whiff of the treasure. Now, Mowgli's education began. Training commenced. Kitty, along with the doctor, taught Mowgli to speak once more and how to act like humans as well. Mowgli remembered she wasn't his daughter, and the next day it was revealed that she was his childhood friend Kitty. They both started getting closer to each other. William also wanted to extract the treasure's location from Mowgli, so he was taking him around the palace. He asked Mowgli about the Hanuman temple while pretending to show him around. Mowgli doubted William's intentions, so he said nothing. The next day, there was a feast at the palace. A feast was taking place, and Mowgli was there as well. He was dancing with Kitty, but William found this very displeasing, which is why he sought to put Mowgli down. To humiliate him, he had him thrown at the dining table. Mowgli felt very bad about all this, so he left everything and returned to his jungle. That night, William made a plan with the hunters. He collaborated with the hunters to devise a plan to kidnap Kitty and extract the treasure's location from Mowgli. On the other hand, the commander made the decision to send Kitty back to England. By this time, William's companions had attacked Mowgli. While trying to save him, the poor bear got injured. William quickly rushed to the palace to fetch a doctor, but he found out about it. Consequently, Mowgli also began to follow them. As Mowgli approached, William's companions had already begun their assault on them. Mowgli saved the doctor, but unfortunately, they took Kitty and the commander along with them. Mowgli dispatched the doctor to save the bear and then followed them himself. After going a bit further, he met them. William struck a deal with Mowgli that he would release Kitty and the commander, but Mowgli must lead them to the treasure in exchange. Mowgli accepted, and they made their way into the jungle. Everyone rested for the night. Once everyone was asleep, Bagheera arrived and freed Mowgli from his ropes, enabling him to escape. A soldier, while chasing him, got stuck in a swamp and perished. William left the commander injured at that spot and set off with Kitty in search of treasure. As soon as they left, Mowgli placed the commander on an elephant and sent him back to the palace, then set off to rescue Kitty. But just then, Shere Khan's roar echoed and everyone fled. One of William's frightened soldiers shot his own friend in the leg, thinking he was Shere Khan. At that moment, Shere Khan took down that soldier from behind, and William was now inside the temple. The Monkey King was once again throwing garbage at William. Meanwhile, Mowgli had also arrived at the temple to save Kitty. But William's hunting companion was after Mowgli's life. While running, Mowgli found himself in a room of the temple where the hunter was shooting at him. Suddenly, the temple's security system was activated and Mowgli ran away to save himself. Mowgli escaped, but the hunter was crushed in that very room. After a while, we see that William had found the treasure room and Mowgli followed closely behind him. Now a fight began between the two. After a long struggle, Mowgli injured William and started to take Kitty out of there. But William was beginning to leave with the treasure. The ghost of the treasure was on board, so he started to search the treasure bags. William saw that all the monkeys had suddenly become silent. Suddenly, a large snake appeared in front of him, and Valium fell into the water due to the sleeping bags. Valium sank into the water. Only then did he see the skeletons. This is the same one. There were people who died because of their own greed, and now Valium was going to suffer the same fate. Well, as soon as Mowgli came out, Shere Khan surrounded him. But Mowgli was the lion. He was not at all afraid of Khan and kept looking him in the eyes. Shere Khan understood that this was not a human being, but a monkey like him. That's why Shere Khan let them both go. As we emerge from the jungle, we see the commander standing by the bridge waiting for his daughter and Mowgli. And now the doctor has even taken care of the bear. A few days later, Mowgli takes Kitty to meet his wolf family in the jungle, where they start a new life together.